Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still at Danal TV International, and this is a special edition for covering over the about the inauguration of the United Nations General Assembly 8th round in the New York City, and the speeches of the world leader and the Egyptian participation of the high-level meetings on the sideline of the General Assembly's meeting by His Excellency Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdelati. First of all, of course, we would like to shed more light on this, and we are delighted to be joined over the phone by His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good afternoon, Your Excellency. Well, we'll call His Excellency afterwards, but actually as the first session or the 8th session of the United Nations General Assembly have been inaugurated yesterday, and many world leaders have they held the speeches at front of the General Assembly. First of all, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and had been talking about the war on Gaza, the climate change, and that all the leaders and countries has to stand together in front of the climate change and in front of the war, and to save the humanity, and to participate to implement the international law in many war spots. First of all, of course, in Gaza, and to end the genocide war been conducted by the Israeli occupation forces. Also, we've been witnessing the speech of the United States President Donald Trump, as he had been talking about his efforts and the efforts of his administration internally to fight against the inflation, and he didn't talk about the war in Gaza. Only at the end, he just warned Hamas to release the hostages, the Israeli hostages, whether it will not be so good for them. The Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli reiterated Egypt's condemnation of trials to bring about relocation of the Palestinian people, and also that was on the sidelines of the high-level meetings, on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, and the participation by His Excellency the Premier. He also reiterated Egypt's rejection and condemnation of any trials and ideas to effect or relocate the Palestinian people from their own land, and also have been talking about the Egypt's support and full support for stability in the enclave held at the UN, and the Prime Minister warned also that the cleansing, ethnical cleansing by the Israeli troops and the genocide war will only bring the whole region into a devastating and more escalation. He has been talking about the exerted efforts from the Egyptian side to approach the ceasefire, and always to maintain and to secure the flow of the humanitarian aid to the people on the Palestinian or on the Gaza Strip. Well, by this we approach another very important and very significant participation by the Egyptian side by Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdelati. And on the sideline of the United Nations General Assembly meetings, he made many important and significant meetings, assuring and reiterating the Egyptians' stance concerning the war on Gaza, and that the establishment of the Palestinian state to its borders of the 4th of June 1967.
Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati said Egypt participated in a high-level meeting on Tuesday in New York with U.S. President Donald Trump and a group of Arab and Islamic leaders, where a unified Arab-Islamic position calling for an immediate end to the war in Gaza was discussed. Speaking to Al Qahira News correspondent Rami Gaber, Abdelati said Trump always seeks peaceful and political solutions and rejects military escalation. He described the meeting as a critical opportunity to strengthen Arab and Islamic unity in support of a ceasefire. Abdelati linked the meeting to growing international momentum following several recent recognition of the State of Palestine and the Two-State Solution Conference in New York. He said that these developments, giving strong international backing to the Palestinian cause and renew hope for Palestinians after months of Israeli attacks, that the world is finally standing with them. He warned that Gaza is facing catastrophic conditions, citing genocide in front of the world and famine caused by Israeli restrictions. He called the humanitarian situation an unacceptable tragedy in the 21st century, while welcoming the recognition of Palestine as extremely positive. Abdelati urged more countries to follow suit. He also called for binding measures to pressure Israel to end its clear violations of international law. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, addressing the high-level international conference on the peaceful settlement of the Palestinian issue in New York on Monday, said the Middle East cannot achieve stability unless Palestinians gain their legitimate right to an independent state based on the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. Madbouli stressed that the two-state solution is both a moral duty and a strategic necessity, warning that ignoring Palestinian rights fuels more violence and extremism. He condemned Israel's recent military escalations, including strikes during mediation efforts, as dangerous precedents that threaten peace. He urged that recent international momentum, including the New York Declaration adopted on the 12th of September, be turned into practical steps. He said that these should include immediate recognition of the State of Palestine by countries that have not yet done so, and the relaunch of a credible peace process with a binding timeline based on international resolutions. Madbouli reiterated Egypt's call for a ceasefire and said Cairo will host an international reconstruction conference after the war ends in coordination with Palestinian authorities and with Arab and Islamic participation. He cited UN findings accusing Israel of committing genocide, both material and moral, against Palestinian civilians in the Gaza Strip, reaffirming Egypt's rejection of any attempts to displace Palestinians or undermine their cause.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and to shed more light on this, we are delighted to be joined now over the phone by His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Your Excellency, it's a great pleasure having you with us.
It's my pleasure. How are you?
Well, it's a significant participation from the Egyptian side by His Excellency, our Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, and the Foreign Minister, Dr. Bada Abdelati, and they are reiterating the Egyptians and the Egypt's stance concerning the Palestinian cause and the establishment of the Palestinian state to its border of June, the 4th of June till of the 1967. And also the right of the Palestinians for the self-determination. How you find the Egyptian stance and also the Egyptian participation of the high-level meetings of the United Nations General Assembly this year?
I see it as a very successful policy of our foreign relations. We are everywhere. We are in the United Nations, we are with Europe, we are with Africa, and the 51 African countries are voting with us, with the Islamic and the Arab dimension also. Many Latin countries are voting for us, and here we are. 152 countries voted for stopping the war and for a Palestinian state on the border of 1967. This is a great success for our diplomacy. And so, as Egyptian, as a diplomat, I am proud of this. Coming to our legal front also, here we have another success with the International Court of Justice and the International Court of Criminals. they accuse the PM of Israel that he is committing crimes against the Palestinians, and he cannot leave. We put him in a position that he cannot leave his country, otherwise he will be captured for the sake of the International Court of Law. Here we have another dimension, that South Africa, which is a country, suffered too much from this sort of policy, discrimination between colored people and white people. They are asking the International Court of Justice also to put this gentleman on trial, and Brazil voted for this also. This is a great success. What I am worrying about, two things. First, that the Egyptian public opinion and the Arab public opinion is not satisfied. They want us to raise our voices, to cry, and to make some very nervous movements. No, we shall not do that. We are in a very silent way, very quiet way. We are putting ourselves in a position where we are putting a trial
in a strong diplomatic way.
Very good. Yes.
Well, Your Excellency, yes, please, if you want to continue on this. Well, I would like to ask you about the wave of recognition of the Palestinian state and the Palestinian statehood. Is it a sort of achievement also for the exerted efforts from the Egyptian side? First. Number two, it's such a political and diplomatic success also for the Palestinian state, and to try to be not only an observer state on the United Nations, but to be afterwards a member. But later on, of course, we're going to talk about the American veto concerning this. But first, it's such a great diplomatic and political achievement and success. How you assess you on this?
If you read and listen to our president's speech in Doha, he stressed what we are saying now, that we are not happy with the international United Nations and its system, because 14 countries out of 15 countries in the Security Council voted to stop the war. And for my wonder, that one country, which is the largest country in the world, refused to stop the war. We were not asking for a Palestinian state or anything like that.
Even to stop the war, they didn't want to vote for it.
How can you explain this to your public opinion in the United States itself? This is one problem. Another problem behind the scene, that I am a little bit worried that we have what we call a double-faced policy from the United States, of course, and its president, and some European countries, because we do not forget that it was a Napoleon idea to plant this strange country within the Arab world, to separate the Arab countries in Asia from the Arab countries in Africa, the Arab in the East and the Arab in the West. And to exhaust our possibility to force us to deliver our oil and to make free passage in the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. We succeeded during the Sadat initiative to convince whether the Israelis or the Western countries that they can get the oil, they can come to Suez Canal without putting this strange body between us. And we succeeded for some time. Now we have a prime minister which is keen to continue the war, to keep him out of jail. This is something. Another element, that the industry of armament sold last year by $9 trillion of weapons since the start of this war of Palestine. Who would sacrifice $9 trillion? So this, and I always repeat that President Dwight Eisenhower He worried us to be careful of the effect of the weapon industry on those who are making political decisions, because they are pushing them to make more and more wars.
Yes.
And of course, because it is almost impossible to have a war between Russia and the United States again, they can destroy the whole world 4 times, then they are not that silly to start a war. So instead of a world war, they are committing war between Afghanistan and Pakistan, between India and China, between India and Pakistan, and now between the whole Arab world and Israel. This is what's worrying me.
Yes.
Only one thing is making me a little bit optimistic, which is the Palestinians stand, and they resist any movement to push them out of their country.
Yes.
And we shall help them to continue staying in their own country, whatever it takes. And this is a good element that, of course, we have the time. And I always say, if we close your eyes for the next 5-10 years, the Palestinians will be outnumbering the Israelis in their own country. Then if you apply democracy, Palestinians will win this battle. So let us support our Palestinian brothers, and God help them anyway.
Yes. Well, Your Excellency, witnessing the speeches of the world leaders yesterday at front of the United Nations General Assembly, most of them mentioned the genocide war in Gaza. First of all, the Secretary General Antonio Guterres, King Abdullah II of Jordan, President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. They've been talking about the miserable humanitarian situation in Gaza and how it's essential and how it's really shame on the international community and the United Nations never till now be able to stop such genocide war. Coming over to the speech of the great or the super power of the world, the United States, of course, and the speech of the President Donald Trump, which had been described as a Mandarin all-out attack, had been just proud of himself, of the achievement of his administration internally, controlling the inflation, ending 7 wars, out of them Gaza. Of course, he didn't even mention the war on Gaza. He only at the end mentioned the releasing the hostages from Hamas side. How you witnessed the word of or the speech of the American president?
This is another example of the double-faced policy which I am talking about. Why the United States is giving from the taxpayers' money $16 billion in cash to Israel, and they give them the weapons, they give them information through the satellites, and giving them all the necessary aid to continue the war. They are giving the Palestinians $60 million, 60 out of 16 billion. And the 60 million not for the Palestinians. No, it is for the UNRWA and the United Nations organizations on the Palestinian territory. This is another example to show you how this policy is exactly a double-faced policy.
Yes.
So let us again and again wait and see. It is a matter of who can resist up till the end of this civil war. Because I do not expect, even if Mr. Netanyahu goes away, I do not expect any better. Once Shimon Peres told us that this is a country of 70 different nationalities, talking 40 different languages. So they are not united at all. And since the establishment of Israel, there wasn't one party won 50%. Never, not even 30%. So it is always a coalition between either those who are far to the left or far to the right. and we have to live with this. But the world again and again continue resisting this silly war.
Yes. Your Excellency, would like also to ask you about the, as you mentioned, and as it's really the status is, the recognition of the Palestinian state, it's really a diplomatic and political success. But on the ground, at number one, it could not change any development or any situation on the ground. Number two, for the Palestinian state to be moved in from an observer country to another full member country of the United States, of the United Nations, sorry, it needs to have a strong Palestinian government, which is not now available in the time being. Number three, when we talk about the response of Netanyahu after the wave of recognition of the Palestinian state, he warned all countries and he assured that there will never be a state of Palestine on the west of the Jordan River as long as he is there. And also he warned of a surprise after coming back from the United States. The 3 points.
This is his dream. This is his dream, and let him go beyond his dream. But he will never succeed. He will never succeed.
Don't you think that he's going to expand the West Bank, or to expand the ground and air offensive to occupy Gaza, really? 100%?
No country in the world will recognize Israel as it is. And of course you are realizing that no country is having an embassy in Jerusalem. All the embassies are in Tel Aviv. They do not recognize the occupation of Israel to Jerusalem. This is one very important matter. And also from where he will bring people to occupy the settlements he's building. I think I told you before that the Economist, the British magazine, told him, you are building ghost houses. You will never see, you will never find enough people to occupy this land, because Israelis in Palestine are 6-7 million, and maybe another same number out of Israel. 15 million Israelis. Can they occupy all this land? Can they occupy Sinai as they talk from now and then? No, of course they cannot. It is ghost houses what he is building. And by the way, the Europeans are punishing him by reducing the development assistance by the number of destroyed projects where Europe were helping the Palestinians to build. This is another element. Nobody will recognize Israel if it is going beyond the limited border. And by the way, the establishment of Israel was a decision from the United Nations in 1948. Israel did not implement this recognition because the decision was giving the Israelis 49% and to Palestinians 51%. Now the Palestinians have less than 20% of the land. What do they want more? So let us continue legally, and we shall win this battle practically afterwards.
And I believe there is even a close window still, even for hope and for the success of diplomacy and political tools. This is what I do believe in. And political science, we should not even give up the hope. Your Excellency, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, former Assistant Foreign Minister, many thanks for being with us and for your insights and analysis. And well, ladies and gentlemen, by this we come to the end of our special edition and coverage. By now, always for more news and update, join us at NileInternational.net. Nile TV International is your gateway to the world. Many thanks for watching, and from myself, Hanan Al-Khouri.